What's up guys? Hey, Dr. Jared here, Tone and Titan, and in this video I'm going to show you how to take care of your Achilles tendon pain. Specifically, I want to show you some of the best tips, techniques, stretches, and exercises that you can do right at home to alleviate and hopefully eliminate pain in this area. First of all, what in the world is your Achilles tendon? That's this big tendon right here, kind of in the back of your leg, back of your ankle. It connects your calf down into the top of the heel, and it's responsible for this motion right here, this plantar flexion motion. Now, when you get pain back in that area, primarily I see it from one of two reasons. Either an overuse injury. This is people, if you're a runner and you increase your mileage, or if you're training for a race, I see it a lot in there. The other cause that I see a lot of is explosive injuries. So if you are a basketball player or a volleyball player, or you participate in track, those kind of ballistic, those plyometric, those fast, intense exercise movements can also cause a lot of stress and a lot of strain in this area. Regardless of how you injured it, regardless of why your tendon hurts, these techniques should work for you. But before we jump right into those exercises and techniques that I want to show you, I need to make one very important distinction for you. That's the difference between an Achilles tendonitis problem and an Achilles tendinosis problem. They both look very similar, but we treat them a little bit differently. The tendonitis, anytime we throw the itis on the end of a word, it means inflammation. So an inflammation of your Achilles tendon. Typically, if you've had pain back in that area for less than 2 weeks, you have an Achilles tendonitis problem. That is going to respond better to rest, meaning just rest it, don't do any activities that would cause pain, stay off of it for a week or two. Ice, so you're going to strap either some ice or some frozen vegetables or whatever around the back of there to kind of settle down some of that inflammation a little bit, and some gentle stretching and range of motion activities. That is how you're going to treat this problem if it's been less than 2 weeks since it started. Now, if it's been more than 2 weeks, and this is when everybody comes in to see me as a physical therapist, they're like, I thought it would go away on its own. It sometimes does, it sometimes doesn't. But anyway, if it's been more than 2 weeks that you've been dealing with this problem, it's more of a tendinosis problem. Now, with a tendinosis, we're not dealing so much with inflammation, we're dealing a little bit more with scar tissue and tissue breakdown. This is why, for a lot of people, if they take some time off and then get back into the activity that they're doing again, it starts to hurt again. It's because they didn't take these steps to rehab it appropriately. They jump back into their activity and now it's painful again. So that is what we definitely want to try to avoid. Tendinosis problems are going to respond better to things like aggressive massage, aggressive stretching, and then strengthening and some tensile forces as tolerated, all of which you're going to get in this video. I just wanted to make that clear. Less than 2 weeks, we're going to be a little more conservative with it. If it's been bothering you for more than 2 weeks, we're going to be a little more aggressive with it. Enough from me. Let's get into these exercises. Let's get started. Now, the first technique that I always start with is a cross-friction massage. Cross-friction massage is a great way to promote tendon in the healing. I mentioned that a big problem is with scar tissue. If we can massage and mobilize some of that scar tissue out of there and help it to lay down in a healthier manner, it's going to feel that much better, and it's not going to come back later. And so what we're going to do, so take your shoe and sock off, grab some lotion. I like cocoa butter. It tends to stay on the skin a little bit better. And what we're going to do is, I also like to put this on stretch. So I'm in this position with my right hand. I'm going to grab the ball of my foot and just introduce a little bit of some stretch into that area. I put some of that cocoa butter on there, and now what we can do is on the sides of the tendon, so I've got my thumb on the inside and I've got this part of my pointer finger on the outside of the tendon, I'm going to go up and down right here like this. Now what you'll notice is there will be an area of increased sensitivity, or an area where you're like, oh yeah, that's it right there, that's the spot. It might also be a little bit more of like a node or a ball right there. As you identify that area, what I want you to do is then start to go in and out on that tendon. Okay, so we're going to go up and down a little bit, but then we're also going to go in and out, and that's where kind of this cross friction pattern comes in. I want you to do it just as much as you can tolerate. When you first get started, it's probably going to be a little bit tender. That's okay, but I don't want it to be painful. I don't want you to push so much that we stir up an inflammatory response in that area. So it's okay if it's a little bit tender, but what you should notice is after 30 to 60 seconds, it starts to go away, it starts to get a little more numb, and you can push a little harder on it. At that point, you would push a little harder on it, just working some of this massage in there. Now, you might, as you get started on this, only be able to tolerate, 60 to 90 seconds of this. But as your tolerance improves, you should be able to get up into 2, 3, 4 minutes of this massage just once a day on that technique. Now, I like to follow up that cross-friction massage with some work on your calves. I like to massage those and mobilize those to get those loosened up. Keep in mind that while the pain is right down here, a lot of times it's tightness and weakness in your calves that's causing that pull on that tendon, so we can't forget about that area. Now, you can massage it with your hands. You can kind of work it over like this and get it loosened up. I personally prefer to do it on a foam roller, and so that's what I wanted to show you. I like to do this in kind of a progression. If it's very acute, if it's very painful, what you can do is start with your other foot down on the ground, so it's going to look just like this, as I use my right foot to support my left as I foam roll that left calf all the way up and all the way down. If that's tolerable, if you're okay with that, you can extend that other leg out, and now we've just got a little bit more weight on that calf as we massage up and down, all the way down to your Achilles, all the way up as high as you can back behind your knee. Looks just like this. If that's still okay, you can even increase pressure further by crossing your good leg over your bad leg. Now all of the weight of my lower body is focused on that calf muscle as I go again all the way from my knee all the way down to my Achilles tendon, just in an effort to massage that and get it loosened up. 60 seconds on this is a good number to shoot for. The first stretch that I like to show patients is a seated calf stretch. I like this one because it's non-weight bearing, it's not quite as aggressive, you're in complete control of it, and then it's also a really good stretch for up into the hamstring and behind the knee as well. What you're going to do is sit with your foot, with your bad leg out in front of you, grab a strap so you can get a belt or a towel or a sheet. This is called a stretch out strap. It's got some loops on it that you can kind of use as handles. This is nice to use as well, but anything like that will work. What I want you to do is put that loop or put that strap around the ball of your foot and then sit up with a really good posture. Now we're just going to use our hands to pull the top of my foot back here towards me in this direction. You're going to feel a good stretch through your calf. You're probably going to feel that back here behind your knee, but I also want you to pay attention to your posture. Don't round forward like this. Sit up nice and tall, and then you can lean forward slightly, and you're going to get that right up here in this hamstring muscle as well. So those are the three areas that I want you to feel it: calf, back of the knee, and in the hamstring. You're going to pull until it's just a comfortable stretch. You're going to hold that for 20 seconds, and then you're going to repeat that one 3 times. These next 2 stretches are 2 of my personal favorite for Achilles tendon pain because I feel like they are so effective. Now, your calf is actually made up of 2 muscles. They kind of sit one on top of the other just like this. They both feed down into your Achilles tendon. It's crucial when you're treating your Achilles tendon pain that you stretch both of those muscles in order to get the best outcomes. This is how you do it right here. So let's stretch the more superficial muscle. This is a gastrocnemius stretch. You're going to come up to a wall, put your hands on a wall, put the bad foot back behind you. Now glue that heel down to the ground. I can't let your heel come up, or I can't have your heel come up like this. And then what we're going to do in this position is just bend this front leg, kind of put more of your weight onto that front leg until you get a good stretch all the way up through the back leg. For most people, they feel that right up here in the top part of the calf. Once again, take it to a place where it's comfortable and then hold it there for 20 seconds. Then we're going to repeat that 3 times. Again, that is the gastrocnemius stretch. In my opinion, where I feel it more down in my Achilles tendon is when we get to the deeper muscle, the soleus. To do that, I want you to bring your foot just ever so slightly forward, and now in this position, kind of get into that same stretch position, but now you're going to unlock your knee until you get a good stretch down here in the back of the Achilles. And most people will feel that down there a little bit lower. And so again, the soleus stretch, knee bent, and then we're just going to push our weight again onto that front foot, push into the wall in this direction until you get that good comfortable stretch on that soleus, and we're going to hold that one for 20 seconds and repeat 3 times. Now, if you've done all the steps up until now, your Achilles is probably feeling pretty good. Everything that we've done, the stretching, the massage, is good at taking away pain now, but if you don't want pain to come back, or if you want to get back into those activities that you enjoy without that pain returning, we have to strengthen. And this is the progression that I like to do that. This is going to be a heel raise progression. You're going to perform these these as tolerated or per your current tolerance level. So the first thing I like to get started with are just double-legged heel raises standing flat on the ground. So it looks just like this. We're going to pull through our calves to lift our heels up off of the floor and then slowly return right back down to that starting position. Go up just as high as you can and then return back down. Keep it nice and slow, nice and in control. Usually I like to shoot for 10 of these, more or less pain-free. Progress to 20, progress to 30, progress to 3 sets of 10 to 20 or 30. Again, it's got to be per your tolerance level. Now, as soon as that becomes okay, as soon as you can get through about 3 sets of 20 or so of those, I like to progress that up to a stair. Now what I'm going to do is put just the balls of my feet up here on the stairs. Now when I pull, it's through just a much bigger range of motion. And then the motion is the same, but you'll see my heels are falling down below the level of my toes. So it's a much more aggressive stretch. It's more of a range of motion that your calf has to pull through, more of a load for your tendon in that way. And so again, start with about 10, 3 sets of 10, work into 3 sets of 20, work up to even about 3 sets of 30 of the heel raises on the stair. Now finally, as that becomes more tolerable, I've got one more progression for you, and according to research, according to studies that they've done, this is going to be the most effective at healing that tendon. This is going to be eccentrics or eccentric contractions on that heel. To do that, we're going to come up with both feet, so I'm up in this kind of tall position into a heel raise. Now what I would do is get rid of my good one, so I'm just standing on the bad leg. So if this was my left one, was the one with the Achilles injury, I'm just standing on this left leg. Now I'm going to slowly lower it all the way down in that position. Now here's where it's important. I want to get that right one back, help up with the right one, get rid of the right one. Now we're just riding the left one, or we're just riding the bad one all the way down. So up with 2, and then we're just using the left, nice, slow, in control to go through that eccentric contraction all the way down. And again, the same numbers apply. About 3 sets of 10 to 3 sets of 20 is a good number to shoot for there. Now, as you've been doing these stretches, if you found that your ankle is limited in its mobility, or you come up into blocks, or it's just not moving as well as it should, what I want you to do is check out this video right here to improve the mobility in your ankle to decrease the stress on your Achilles tendon. Plantar fasciitis is common with Achilles tendonitis. If you have that, check out this video right here. It will really help you out. If you haven't subscribed to Tone and Tighten yet, hit the circle right here to do that. I'd love to see you back for future videos. Till next time, we'll see you soon on Tone and Tighten.